The war between Russia and Ukraine has been ongoing since 2014 and has caused immense loss of life and human suffering. At the core of the conflict is the political struggle between Russia and Ukraine over the latter's bid to join the European Union, while Russian President Vladimir Putin insists that Ukraine remain in Russia's orbit. The conflict is further complicated by long-standing ethnic and cultural tensions between Russians and Ukrainians. The Russian government insists that its involvement in Ukraine is limited to providing humanitarian aid and political support to separatists in Ukraine's Donbass region, where a pro-Russian separatist insurgency has been ongoing since 2014. However, the evidence of Russia's direct involvement in the conflict is overwhelming. The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights has documented numerous cases of at least 6,500 people killed and more than 1.5 million displaced as a result of Russian-backed armed forces in Ukraine. The conflict has led to a breakdown in diplomatic relations between Russia and Ukraine, with both countries imposing economic sanctions on one another and targeting each other's assets. This includes restrictions on border traffic, trade, the use of some ports, and travel restrictions. Additional measures put in place in 2017 have seen Russian banks, including Sberbank and VTB, prohibited from operating in Ukraine. The human cost of the conflict has been immense, with thousands of Ukrainians killed in the fighting and more than 1.5 million displaced due to the conflict. Many displaced Ukrainians live in inhumane conditions, with inadequate food, shelter, and healthcare. The suffering of these individuals has been compounded by reports of torture and abuse in Russian-occupied territories in Ukraine. The ongoing conflict also has wider economic repercussions for Ukraine, including reduced GDP growth due to the war-induced disruption of trade and foreign direct investment. This has had a direct impact on the country's ability to develop a prosperous and stable economy. It is clear that the conflict between Russia and Ukraine has had a devastating impact on both countries, with no end in sight. Despite recent attempts at diplomatic reconciliation, such as the 2020 peace talks in Paris, the conflict has yet to be resolved. It is imperative that both sides move towards a viable solution to the conflict and find a way to restore peace in Ukraine.